I'm in a very weird situation right now in where I have to actually schedule a bunch of my releases. To make up for the last couple of years that didn't go very well for Orangepixel, I need to release a lot more this year. Now normally I'm the first person that tells you when the game is done, release it, move on to the next. However, there are certain things every now and then that you need to take into account before you press that release button on a game. Hey, I'm Pascal from Orangepixel. Welcome to another video. Let's go through my release schedule. I have a lot of stuff scheduled this year that all have to work and release in the right time and right windows. So I figured this could be an interesting topic to talk about these things while I'm actually waiting for the Nintendo website to process the trailer video of the next Switch game that I'm about to release. And the Nintendo website is slow. Very slow. So we got time for a video. Now I took some notes before I started this video because I knew I would not be able to remember all this. It's really a big schedule. I wasn't really sure I could create a whole video out of this. I think we're gonna manage. First thing is Questionnaire. That one actually launched last weekend on the Atari VCS. It was already available on the Switch, on iPhone, on Android, on PC, but it never launched on VCS. I think we had it ready last year, but for whatever reason, I didn't push it through last year. So it's now launched and it's on the VCS. I'm not expecting a huge amount of sales. Now, Questionnaire is a weird little game. I'm very well aware of this. And I think if you check it out on Steam, it probably has some negative reviews. I haven't looked into those, but I'm fairly sure there are people who just don't understand this game. I already saw a few people talk about it like that on the VCS Discord, although some actually defended it because they did understand the game. It's very simple. You have a left button and a right button, and those are the two choices. You can either fight the enemy or you can leave the room, hopefully not getting hit behind when you're moving through the door. And in that way there's a lot of things going on in that game, and it has very deep gameplay and content, but it's very casual to play it. So again, I'm not expecting a lot of sales, but I do want my games to be everywhere when possible, and it was very easy to release this on Atari as well alongside the Switch version. So why not? But again, Questionnaire is not everybody's type of game, and originally the idea was very much for mobile devices, especially playing it vertically or a portrait mode, and then just casually having your thumb move around these buttons as you progress through a dungeon. Now, of course, reading reviews like that and having people comment on this game every now and then, you have such low amount of downloads on Steam, this game must be garbage. Now, this game also, to me, proves the crap talk we have in the business right now when people look at my game and they notice this game on Steam first, probably, and they'll see a very low amount of reviews, or if any, it might actually be 0 reviews or just negative stuff, and they might think, how can you survive on games like this? I actually looked it up because I wasn't sure on this. But Questionnaire, I started it in 2018 in January, released it in May, so that's 4 or 5 months of work. It did 28,000 euros on mobile alone. Most of that on iPhone. I think it got a feature for a day or something like that. So in the first couple of weeks, this game already was more than profitable compared to the time I put into creating it, and after that releasing it on PC, on Switch, on Atari VCS, just profit. That's pretty much it. Just extending the game. And for those who played it on iOS might actually at some point play it on PC. They'll see it in a discount or a sale and think, why not? I enjoyed this game on my iPad. Let's buy it. So yeah, Questionnaire, weird little game, but it did pretty good. And it's now available and released on Atari VCS. First release of the year. Let's move on to the second. And the second game this year is Grunts of Power, Nintendo Switch. We got it through lot check on Nintendo late last week. 2 tries, 2 attempts to get it through, so that's pretty good. The only time it failed was on a couple of language things, and most of all, in the settings menu there was a way to change the controllers, and I think I called it gamepad setup. Nintendo doesn't like you to call these things gamepads. You have to call them controllers. We renamed it and submitted it. Yeah, Nintendo is weird when it comes to names and naming things. Anyway, that's done, and right now I'm making the store page so that it goes live, hopefully February 17th, so that's in 2 weeks from now. And then the game goes live first week of March. Yeah, so it has a little time so that people can like wishlist it on Switch. Not that that does a lot, but it's fun to have that available. And then the game goes live in March, making it the second release of the year. And we're 3 months in. Pretty cool. Now March was picked, but I had to check because here's one of these things that you have to keep in mind. Nintendo announced Switch 2. They announced something's gonna happen in April. So I figured I should not release in April. So we're releasing in March. It should be safe. I'm not expecting weird things to be announced by Nintendo. Also not sure how it works out with Switch games and the Switch 2. Apparently it's backwards compatible. Not sure how, if that will be a separate part of the eStore shop thing, or if they actually just have all the Switch games available for Switch 2. In that case, I'm fearing a little Wii U type thing, that we have an upgrade of a platform without really an upgrade. So we'll see what happens. Nintendo being Nintendo, it could go all in any direction. I just have to make sure I'm not launching a game in April. Now, once the Switch version is out, we'll also launch it on Atari VCS. And for those wondering, what am I talking about? This was a Kickstarter project from the new Atari company. So this is an Atari VCS console. It's a very tiny market. It's not interesting for most bigger developers, but that makes it very interesting for smaller developers. And guess what I am? Well, I'm not small, but I'm one-man company. So Atari VCS, interesting to release on that. We'll release Gauntlet of Power in, I'm guessing April, just a few weeks after the Switch version. Why am I doing it like that? So that I can actually talk about the game a couple of times. I could do press releases and things like that. Not expecting people to pick it up, but it might still get picked up here and there. And if I talk about it twice, I have twice the chance that people talk about my game. Also, this is a little bit sneaky, I know, but this is how business works. Let's say somebody has a Switch and an Atari VCS. This way they will not have to choose to pick up the game on one or either one of these things. You can just buy it on the Switch, and then a month later when you're really into the game, you think, oh, love to have this game on other consoles, we'll dump it on the VCS and you'll actually get to buy it twice. This is pretty common stuff, and this is one of the reasons why you should just try to spread out your releases. Okay, moving on. So speaking of Gauntlet of Power, while we're there anyway, I also want to release it on mobile phones. The Android version is 99.9% done, except for some minor changes, and a dash button is missing. I think that's less than a day's work, and then it's done. I just never finished it for the simple reason the game first has to be launched on the Switch and the VCS. Why? Price point, pretty much. The mobile version is probably going to be cheaper than the PC version and the Switch version and everything. And not because I think a mobile gamer should pay less for my games, but the marketplace just is like that. Although I have seen bigger prices or higher premium priced games, I have seen better prices. Games that are now $8 or $9 on mobile. I like that. I know not everybody likes it, and you certainly have a hard time selling copies there, but that does open up some interesting ideas. So I'm not sure how the game will release on mobile, and it won't release until I think September. What did I write down? Yeah, September, October. So that the VCS version is out, the Switch version is out, and we can actually months later start doing sales and discounts for all the versions. And then it will be on par with the release on the mobile version. Just a couple of things you have to think about when you release games. Also, This is all Gauntlet of Power. We're now talking about 3 different releases, and that's why you should release your game on as many platforms as possible and not just focus on Steam. Like so many indie game developers just focusing on Steam. There is so much more out there, and if you're not selling 100,000 of copies, you want to release on as many things as possible and as easily as possible, so with the least amount of effort. And if you already have a working game, make it work on other platforms, because you don't have to go through the game logic, you don't have to redesign the game or do all the content and assets and create a lot of stuff. You just have to make it run on another device and make sure the input control scheme is working. Those type of things you can think of from the start. Every game I design has gamepad controls built in, and every game I design can be played with a touchscreen. And because of that, it can be ported everywhere. It can be done, and you can find business partners to do those things. Like I work with Serious Lion, who is also a freelance game developer or indie game developer who does a lot of porting for other companies. He and I hooked up on these games to get them on Switch, get them on VCS, and he has been tinkering with the PlayStation version of some of the games. Let's hope we can make those things happen this year as well, because then there's going to be a lot more releases to be done on PlayStation and maybe Xbox. Okay, moving on. Let's leave Gauntlet of Power where it is. A lot of versions coming up. Next on the list, and that's Space Grunts, the game I'm working on right now, Space Grunt 3. I wanted to have that game in Steam Next Fest, which is at the end of this month. Not gonna make that. Now it feels like I'm on track with the game and the development is going smoothly. Let me check one thing. Yeah, I'm starting build 11 this week, so that's 11th week of working on the game. I wanted to do 5 months. I'm well on schedule, I think. Many things in the game are already playable and working. Gonna start adding animations and tutorial things already this week, so I think I'm on schedule, but the demo doesn't feel right to push it out now and then have it in Next Fest and then release in April. Just a little bit too soon. So that means I'll have to push this game for the next Fest. Of course I could release without it, but Next Fest can bring in hundreds of wishlists, and that will help you sell the game better. Still something that's very important on Steam, getting wishlist. So I'm not gonna lose out on that. I need one of these Next Fests, and then I better use the one where I'm comfortable with a game that's completed, ready to go. As soon as Next Fest is over, we'll release it. Which brings us in June or July. Not the best date or months to release a game in, I think. We'll see how that all works out, but the game will have to go out at some point. I'm not sure yet, but we're not going to do it in March. I'm sure about that. And that does open up a window for my other game, Regulators, which is very close to done already. Need to do some final things, testing, create a trailer, and then maybe we can release that one in so either April or May. The game just has to go out by now, and it's done. It's cool. I actually played it last week after 1 or 2 months not looking at it, and I like it, but it can make some little change and improvements here and there. Just don't put too much time into it, because at some point you have to say a game is done, release it. Regulators, April or May on PC, and then we'll hopefully have a Switch and a VCS version later on. And when all that is out the door, I have to start a new game. Because I'm not done this year, I need to release games and I need to improve that catalog of games again. Some of the games I have are now really getting old and outdated, so why not create new versions? I have not fully decided on the next project just yet, but I have time. Gunslugs, new Gunslugs would be pretty cool. However, everybody keeps telling, or everybody that looks at all the figures, numbers and all the statistics, they will keep telling you that platform games are a terrible idea unless you have something very unique. I don't know yet. I really want to create a Gunslugs, and it would be a 2D platformer. Just need to find a little interesting hook that makes it interesting for people to pick it up, and not just a platformer, which I think I can do. I just don't have a clear idea yet. If it's not going to be Gunslugs, I want to create a new Ash world. Except I have even less ideas for that one. besides the fact that I think I can improve on everything the original did. Better car driving, better characters, a better open world, because it's an open world game. I think I can improve on everything. Just not sure that's enough to actually do it. But it's an idea. So that would be around June. I have to have a clear idea of my next title. I still have time. Okay. Also still have time with Nintendo still processing the videos. I can't remember it took that long the last time I did it. But anyway, that's a lot of game releases and scheduling I'm doing this year. Of course, if Space Grunts goes out in July, it would be pretty cool to also have it available on maybe the Switch before the end of the year. And then Regulators maybe in January, February. But that depends on my partner in crime, Serious Lion. I cannot manage his agenda and calendar. So I'm just gonna see if that works or not. I'm just gonna add it to my schedule as a hopefully. But on the other hand, if we're gonna do PlayStation release in between those things, I wouldn't mind delaying any new Switch versions, and then it could all be good. We'll see how that all ends. It could be more releases or maybe not. And I think that covers most of my scheduled releases this year. Then I have my HTML portal. I talked about it in various videos. Put it on hold just a little bit, but I am talking to a company now, thanks to one of the viewers who brought me in contact with them. They can do rewarded videos. So I will be able to check out their SDK. Hopefully it can be a very easy integration, because then I can start opening up my portal with some of the older games, and I can maybe focus a little bit more on that again, have them available for free, then figure out what I'm going to do with Patreon and the games that will be premium and require some sort of Patreon subscription type thing. Just a lot of things to sort out, but Space Grunts is my main thing. It has to be done. If I can have it done by March, that would be great. Just not gonna use it in next fest. I don't think, with 3 weeks left for that, I think it's 24th. Yeah, pretty sure. I have 2 weeks. I just don't think it would be smart to release it in next fest, unless I get a lot of things done this week and the next week. Let's not rush things. Let's make smart decisions and not just rushed decisions. I know I'm in a very unique situation, because most solo game developers, or even if you team up with someone, most of us don't have that many games on a schedule in a single year. It is a weird situation, but on the other hand, I haven't released many games in the last couple of years, and that's kind of brought me into certain problems. So I just need to get these games out and need more games out there. I need to build up my catalog and make that catalog work for me again, so that there's money coming in from these games, not just on mobile, also on PC and on console. Besides these releases, I'm also scheduling a bunch of sales and discounts, and just having all my games work for me, so that hopefully by the end of the year we'll have a great end of year video with surprising numbers. And that's a great goal to work towards. And I also have only 6% battery left in the camera, and I don't want to swap the batteries just yet. So we're gonna wrap up the video here. For the idle watchers, as every week, if you have nothing to comment on this video, but you do want to show your appreciation and that you actually watched the video and liked it, then of course do a thumbs up, and in the comments drop the keyword releases. That could create very weird comments, but just releases. Whatever you're gonna release, do it in the comments below. And if you have anything else to say or comment or add, drop that in the comments as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in next week's video. No idea what it's gonna be about. I'm very blank on ideas right now. There's a bunch of little things I have, but I'm also working on many things behind the scenes that I cannot talk about just yet. There's just a lot of things going on right now, but most of that is all very positive, and hopefully I can start talking about some of these things in the following weeks. Because I'm even doing another game maybe that I haven't even mentioned, except for now I should stop talking. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.